The founder and president of Live Action, Lila Rose, Fox News contributor, Father Jonathan Morris. Lila was on my radio show today earlier, Father, and Lila, so we had this woman that you were debating, and I got her to admit, she says the government should have no right to tell a woman at any time what she can and cannot do with her body. And then I said, well, what if we're 1 week away and you have a fully formed baby that could live on its own outside of the womb, and she still stood by her position? In that case, it's infanticide and murder. Why do you think there's like this heartlessness, this lack of compassion? If maybe you think in the first trimester, I understand the thought process, but 9 months? What was your reaction to that?
I think it's clear the heartlessness of the abortion argument. Basically, they try to make an arbitrary line of when life shouldn't be protected, and that's where it leads you. It leads you to infanticide, because you can't put an arbitrary price or a line on when people should be protected and when they shouldn't, when preborn children are humans and when they're not. The reality is science tells us they're human from the moment of conception. The full DNA is there, and they just need time and nourishment to grow, and we and our laws should acknowledge that, respect that, and celebrate that, and support women who are in difficult situations and promote and foster life, instead of claiming that abortion is somehow empowering women, which is what is so really disgusting, Sean, about what the groups like Planned Parenthood and NARAL have done in our country, hijacking the feminist movement with the abortion rights movement, which is just really a sham and against women and children.
Father Morris, this is the first time either a sitting president or vice president, in this case Vice President Pence, actually went and spoke to the March for Life.
Oh,
what did that mean?
How refreshing. And what it means to me, and Lila made mention of this, is that in the past it's been that, oh, religion and science were somehow in conflict. We know now by sonograms, we know by science, that it's just the opposite. And that's why it's becoming so difficult for some who have been so anti-life to say, oh no, the actual rational people would be pro-choice. No. Reason, in this case, stands with a defense of life. And I think the Vice President, the President, in this case, Kellyanne Conway, have been a refreshing voice to say, no, you know what, we're not necessarily just Republican.
Yeah.
Because if we think about it right now, this administration is kind of post-partisan in many ways.
Right.
It's actually, this is just what makes sense. This is what people in the middle of the country actually believe.
What about,
it's refreshing.
What about people that think it's maybe okay in the first trimester? My answer is, well, I'm pro-choice, but if you choose to get in a bed with somebody and choose to remove every article of clothing without... I'm pro-choice. You have a lot of choices leading up to that act. That's, you have a choice to use birth control.
We're all pro-free will.
You have a choice to...
And there's...
Right. What?
A lot of it's a lack of education. I mean, in the first trimester, at 3.5 weeks, the heart is already beating, the brain waves are already beginning to form. It's incredible how quickly that child grows in the first trimester. And most Americans, when they're polled, say that after the heart is beating, abortion should be banned. They don't realize that that's 3.5 weeks. No, and I think we should really acknowledge prenatal development and say, these are human beings, too, and deserve human rights.
Well, I mean, that was my point. I'm pro-choice. People have a lot of choices before they decide to have sex and make a baby and not protect themselves. I know, Father, you disagree with artificial contraception, right?
The main point is recognition of what is sex, and the question to you ask, what is sex all about? And if you're not open to life, well, then there's all sorts of issues that come after that. And I think in our country, we recognize that life is such a beautiful thing that nobody should be against it.
In other words, there should be a value placed on that which is growing inside of a woman, and then it becomes, do we as a society protect that which is growing life?
Absolutely. And I love the fact that an administration like the Trump administration, and we have to hold them to account on a lot of other issues of life, not just a question of abortion, but that he's saying, I'm not necessarily just traditional Republican, but hey, listen, this is obvious.
I got a break here. I want to thank you both. Appreciate it. That was pretty crazy today, Lila. I couldn't believe that. Good job. Thank you.